a godly man that has not been married meets that divorced woman, she's free from the bondage. She can marry that man. She can marry the man that has a relationship with God, because because she's been left stranded. She's been left stranded. But another man that understands purpose sees that woman, and she marries that woman. Now it's the man that divorces the woman is just left wandering up about the surface of the earth. They're just left there. They're just left there. So in some cases, if the man that is divorced was the one that left, if the wife left the man, like the wife said, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm tired of this, and the wife just left him like that with the kids, or she took the kids or whatever, and he's just alone like that, and for certain that this is God's will for your life, that you're supposed to marry this man and be that spiritual covering over that man and speak life into his life and revive him back to life, win him over to God's kingdom, then yes, you can marry that man. But it has to be according to God's will. It has to be that we're hearing God's voice rather than we're hearing our own voice based on what we need in our lives. Based on what we need in our lives. So in those situations, that can happen. So that's how I'm not saying, no, don't marry divorced men, don't marry if they're divorced and this and that. There are consequences, but you have to understand your own spiritual identity in God. You have to understand how the spiritual bond works in relationships. What can happen when one person leaves the other person, and the other person is gone or whatever. It depends. Things definitely can change, but it depends on your own relationship with God and how confident you are in following God's direction for your life. That's it on this topic. That's all I want to say about this topic. For singles, use this means to educate people. Hey, educate you. It's okay. It's alright that married people are coming to you. I wanted to say this. This video is gonna be so long. I wanted to say this. For a single, so in my life, let's say. Alright, so I feel like this topic is so broad. We can pretty much just spend our whole day on it, talking about it. But growing up and with having all of these questions that need to be answered, I realized that actually there's some men that I want to actually just say thank you to, that I've met while I was going through my spiritual journey, that really I just want to say thank you, because going to the church, even though I didn't really get a whole lot of answers going to the church about what I really needed from God, there were some men in that setting that really stood out. They stood out because they understand their purpose as men, not just married men, but as men, because that relationship of marriage doesn't take away it doesn't take away your purpose as a man in the world, being an influencer in the world, being a Christ representative in the world, understanding the needs that the generations behind you need, and being able to meet that need by being present when it comes to educating, when it comes to redirecting our attention to, hey, that man that just approached you in the church, I saw him come to you, I've talked to you for a little bit of time, and I know that that's not the direction that you're supposed to be going to. Don't allow the brainwashing. Don't be carried away with the brainwashing that the men that are coming to you are doing to you. So those men that I met and took the time to call me without having that fear that, oh, maybe I wouldn't take their advice, or maybe I wouldn't take their counsel, because at that time I didn't have a relationship with God to be able to even to understand and be able to discern what direction and which direction I needed to go to. But those men didn't care as much of if they would get insulted or get a type of rejection from me, they still came and told me that, hey, you know what, it's better for you to wait. I don't think you're making the right decision. That even though this person looks like they know a whole lot about God, you're being brainwashed. You're being brainwashed. You need to wait. Those men, I just want to say thank you to those men that took their time to educate, to redirect me without expecting any benefit from me, without wanting to sleep with me, without wanting me to even meet their own emotional needs. They were secured in their marriage relationship, but not only were they secured, they knew their purpose in the world as men. And it's very, very important. And I just don't want to say thank you to the men, because without the men, there has to be a woman also that is comfortable with the idea of their husband approaching single ladies. That woman there has to be a woman behind that is working behind the scene with this man on the bed, educating this man, telling yeah, I think you should do it. I think she's doing. There has to be that woman also. And I just want to say thank you to the married women that would see us single women looking and seeking for the missing daddy factor in our life, and looking for our emotional needs to be met from all our broken relationships, and will allow their husbands to come and educate us without interfering, without being scared, as in, oh, you know what, there's this all the single women that are wearing short skirts and they're trying to seduce seducing our husbands with their seductive spirit and and all that you're not acting that way in fear of, okay, we're going to take your husband away from you, because your husband recognizes a much deeper need, which is a relationship. We need a relationship with God to be able to meet the emotional needs in our lives, the emotional needs that we're striving for in all this relationships that we're involved in, or we have no option. we don't know the best way to be able to fill that void. But I just want to say thank you to the women that also understand their purpose, and they understand the purpose of their man in the world, and they understand why there's a need out there. They understand how those needs can be met. It takes a lot of strength for a woman to do that. It takes a lot of security in yourself as a woman, being secured in yourself, being secured in yourself, being secured in your relationship, in your marriage relationship, being secured in your relationship with God. Because if you're not secured in your relationship with God, that's going to reflect in your marriage. And if you're not secured in your marriage, you won't be secured in yourself. You don't have a relationship with yourself. You don't have a relationship with God. It becomes difficult to have a relationship with your marriage. It becomes difficult, but there has to be some type of security. You feel secured as a married man, as a married woman, that yes, this woman may be prettier than I am. This woman may be wearing all this laid 5 bundles hair, and she's wearing a corset and she looks perfect like Nicki Minaj, and you're wearing like natural hair, not even wearing makeup sometimes, you already have kids, you need to exercise sometimes, and you feel secure that your husband will leave and come back. You know exactly the right words to tell your husband to redirect his attention back to you when he starts to lose it. Like, oh, maybe this woman has something that my wife doesn't have, because she has all this 5 bundled hair on her head and she looks all slayed and all on fleek. You have a security. You're secured. And I just want to appreciate you for that, for allowing your husband to just go out like that and minister to the younger ones, the younger females that are needing that missing daddy factor, and direct their attention to God, because he can't even meet that need. But that man also has to understand his own purpose. So he's not distracted, and he's not is not entangled with the needs that he might even have, the emotional needs that he might even have. Because when they come to us, we know the right words to say to the man. We can sense the man's emotions, being the light in the middle of darkness. We may not know our own spiritual authority to understand that, hey, we can't do that. But the devil uses that also to lure you guys in, to lure the married man into the single woman's life. If we don't understand who we are in Christ, you know, we're able to sense what you need. If your wife is not talking to you, then we're going to talk to you. If your wife is not saying certain words, then we're going to say those words to you, because we have a need that needs to be met. And because if that need is there, and you don't have a relationship with God, you're not secured in your relationship with your wife, you're not secured in your relationship with God, you're going to fall. We may not be able to help you, you're going to fall, and that's going to ruin your relationship if you let it. It happens sometimes, but if you know how to fight it, it won't ruin your married relationship. Even though you know you're supposed to be ministering, you also have to be very conscious when you're with single women that don't have a relationship with God, and their purpose for meeting with them is for ministration. You don't want to get entangled in that mess. So I just want to say thank you to the wives. Thank you so much. Like, I look at you and I'm like, I want to be that kind of wife. I want to be that kind of woman that will sit back, cross my leg, and just let my husband go to work, go to the Lord's vineyard and win souls for God. Win souls for God. Go do that. Go do your work. Go do the Lord's business. I want you to do that. I want to be that kind of wife, because what I've seen walking my journey, I feel like, you know what, if they can do it, if those women can do it, I can do the same as well. I can do the same as well. And I feel so inspired by your action, by your patience, by your calmness. Your spirit is calm. You're not calm like, oh, what are you doing with my wife? Because the thing is, we can sense that. We can sense that. I'm saying this from my past experience. I'm better now. Like, you know, I'm not like looking for, you know, I'm not looking for married. Unfortunately, they're coming to me. I'm not looking for married. I'm not looking for married men. But the thing is, when we can sense that, when the wife is not secured and she's full of fear, usually what the wife does is they come to the single ladies and they want to approach and they want to attack and they want to say their own word, like, oh, you have a reputation of doing this and doing that. I want you to leave my husband alone, okay? Husband snatcher, this. Don't come. Don't even you dare come near my husband. Don't do this like that. I want to say it's immaturity, but also it's a way to lose. You don't fight that way. Don't fight that way, because it's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle. You don't fight that way when you're a young married woman and you see your husband talking to the unmarried woman, and you have that fear of, I'm going to lose my husband because he's talking to this other woman, and you're jealous. We can sense that fear. I want to tell you, if you're not functioning with faith, your greatest fear will eventually become your reality. Because your husband can sense that insecurity as well. He wants to do the Lord's business. He wants to minister. But then when he's looking at us, it might be confused. It might choose us over you, because you're over there acting crazy, acting out of fear that another woman is in the corner trying to steal your husband. So what I want to encourage you to do as young married women is to delight in the Lord's word, delight in the Lord's instruction when this happens, because the Lord will give you a reason why He has to be there to minister. The Lord will give us a reason and a perspective, and a lot of times that's all we need. We just need perspective on how to handle the issues and how to react better, so you don't end up losing your husband, or you don't end up just, you know, out of fear, out of insecurity, damage the relationship that you have because another woman has gotten your husband's attention. So chill, relax, practice being secured in your relationship with God, in your relationship with yourself as a woman, and also in your relationship with your husband. Trust him that he has to do God's business, rather than acting out of fear and then ruining everything. That's all I have to say on this topic. I hope you were blessed. I hope you were educated. If you love this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining, and have a blessed day.
You did a good.
My head is heavy, let me lay it down. Into your lap I would love to drown. I need that story I used to hear, to run on and to end disappear.